What's going on? Welcome in, all you genitalia tuckers from Target. This
Yeah,
is Stuck in the
you
Catch Fence.
Bud Light drinking people, you.
Yeah. What's going on? This is the weekly show. My name is Ryan Peters. I'm with my co-host, co-owner, co-commissioner, co-CEO,
Jorge
and
Sanchez.
wrong month.
Oh,
That's next month. What?
Yosef Spillerman.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're supposed to put your pronouns at the bottom. Did you not get the memo?
No,
Oh,
she, him, her.
yeah. Uh,
That's me.
yeah. I go by Fuka
I
Yul. No.
Fool me. Anyway, I think the best way to start this show, Ryan, is obviously to cancel ourselves as soon as we start.
Oh
So that's
yeah.
always good.
Yeah. No, we're celebrating. It's the
Yeah.
month. It's the month
Yeah.
where you do stuff with hijacking things that mean something else. But we're
I
gonna go ahead.
We already got a comment from
Nice.
this my screen's kind of far away. I could read the last name of Wallywood. I think it's Malin Wallywood, and it says, "Joe, get the hamster wheel going." I don't know what that means.
Is that telling you to work out? What
I don't.
I mean, what's
Hey,
he doing?
I went swimming today.
You did. I can tell
Yeah.
it's kind of a little rosy here. I mowed today, which in Indiana means you're going to die from allergies. So,
Right.
for whatever reason, it rains the entire month of April, and it doesn't rain for 2 weeks in May, and your grass dies. So,
Yeah.
in other words, I'm going to die. So, no, Joe, my quick question as you jump into today's weekly show, now that you've had time to sit back and react and listen to every possible situation possible in terms of the Chase Elliott drama, the Denny Hamlin, the Dale Juniors of the world react. Has your opinion changed at all when it comes to the penalty levied? And do you think that we'll see another Chase Elliott dip when it comes to the attendance and possibly the TV viewership this weekend?
My opinion has not changed on that at all. We discussed this at length the other day. I mean, what he did, even if it was in the heat of the moment, like I said, he could have killed Denny Hamlin. I still am a strong supporter that I don't think a one race suspension, no matter the driver, with actions like that is enough. I think that a one race suspension while right hooking somebody, even in the heat of the moment, I think you're actually getting off a little light. So my opinion has not changed. I'm still pretty firm in that belief.
Do you believe that all the people on Facebook calling Denny Hamlin a crybaby, do you think that they are in the right? Or do you think Denny Hamlin keeping his stance the way he has this entire time is justified?
They are absolutely right in calling Denny Hamlin a crybaby.
Jeez.
Maybe not for this instance. I'll give him a pass on this instance. What he said was very valid, very true. After the race, and Denny Hamlin's got a lot of bullshit. Everybody knows that. I think he goes as far as making some things up sometimes, or kind of stretching the truth on actions detrimental. But as far as this incident, I think he's spot on. Apparently, Malin Wallywood was talking about my internet. He was referring to my internet. I think
your internet's been good.
Yeah, it has its ups and downs. Cody Turner says, you don't want to know what he says.
Say it.
No,
I got broad shoulders
I can't.
and a fat belly and say it.
That's pretty much what he said.
Oh. Well, that kind of hurts.
I'm just kidding. He wants to know which was worse, Chase Elliott's this week or Bubba last year at Vegas. I think Bubba last year at Vegas was worse. That was intentional. The incident was already over. Elliott, obviously, heat of the moment thing. He hits the wall. He turns down to right hook. It was more of a reaction thing, like kind of sometimes, you see those videos where somebody scares somebody and instead of like jumping away, they punch them in the
Yeah,
face.
punch him in the face.
That's more what I equate Chase Elliott's actions to, really.
I break them down in two different variants. The overall package, what was worse was Bubba Wallace right hooking Kyle Larson and then trying to fight him after he got out of the car like an idiot right there in the quad oval. I believe as a whole, that was a worst overall look. In terms of what actually happened due to the wreck, I think Denny Hamlin's being wrecked was infinitely worse because Kyle Larson actually just only hit his rear against the back or against the wall. He did not go head first into the wall. And I believe so. If you're looking at it that way, Denny Hamlin got the worst side of actually being wrecked because like we talked about on the show, Joe, it literally could have killed him. And we have seen plenty of examples. They talked about other shows. Denny Hamlin even gave an instance of an incident that happened where a driver did die by getting right hooked in that same exact spot in 2001. So, yeah, I think if you look at from an optics standpoint, I think Bubba Wallace looked more like an idiot. From an actual destruction standpoint of being wrecked, I think you have to go with Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott. So again, we did a whole show, I mean, at length on everything about this. So you go ahead and check that out. That'll be in the library. But we want to move on to the news, Joe. And we've said this a few times this year, but it's going to be hard to one up this because this is the heaviest penalty that can be given to a team. And Chase Briscoe and Stewart-Haas Racing have been levied a level 3 penalty by NASCAR. And what's awesome about this, Joe, is that they were found to have cheated and altered/counterfeited a part, and that helped them get 20th place in the said race.
Yeah. I think really, Ryan, I don't know, man. I think you have to go back to, and we've talked about this, and of course, Stewart-Haas has put out a statement saying that they're not going to appeal the decision. They were in the wrong. I think they
literally said we effed up.
Yeah, I don't think it was. They said it was a quality control issue. I don't know. Of course, it was a counterfeit part, is what they're calling it. I don't know what competitive edge it gave them. I think they said it could have gave them more downforce. Obviously, it didn't. It didn't really give him a competitive edge. I don't know why that part was on the car. I don't know if that was for testing purposes and they just didn't take it off or what. I have no idea. I don't think we'll learn that. I don't think there's been many statements on that. However, I think when you talk about these penalties, and like I said, the rule book is black and white. As far as this goes, I think you have to penalize them, but I also go back to my prior statements when we've talked about penalties in the past, and that is, you got to show me what the competitive edge is before you penalize a team like that. You have to show me, and for me to agree with it. And of course, my opinion doesn't matter. Don't get me wrong. I'm just coming from a personal standpoint here. I want to see where the competitive edge is. Tell me how this action, this part, makes his car so much better than the rest of the field while he's finishing 20th place. That's kind of where I'm at.
So here's the statement from NASCAR. The NACA, which I'm going to guess that is pronounced NACA, even though it sounds like an acronym. Ducts are single source supplied parts on the next gen car and may not be modified or counterfeited. The NASCAR rulebook spells out the locations of these ducts on the left and right side of the windows, used to help cool the car. Tightening the ducts or counterfeiting/modifying the size of the ducts can help a team create more downforce on the race car. So this was found in post-race inspection at the R&D center, and the total penalty for this is 120 points in both the owner standings and driver standings, 25 additional playoff points. The only way that's going to matter is if Chase Briscoe gets a win, because he's currently like 34st in points now. $250,000 fine, and his crew chief will be suspended for the next 6 points races. So that is the penalty. Joe, to kind of go against what you're saying there, I don't think it matters what it does. You're just told not to do it. You know, like You're told not to drive 55 mile an hour on the speed limit. You're told not to drive 55 mile an hour speed limit. I mean, that's just, you're not supposed to drive over it. Not everybody gets killed because you do it, but at the end of the day, these are the rules. These are why they're set in place. And, you're right. It didn't help. I mean, but at the end of the day, do you just keep cheating until it does help and then you finally get a case? I mean, that's what you're kind of opening the door for.
No, I look, I don't disagree with you. I guess my point is, and I've said this previously, my point is, I think that should come along with the penalty. I think it needs to be explained more for fan purposes. Tell me why this penalty is so huge. What competitive edge does NASCAR believe that part really gave him to substantiate this big of a penalty? I guess that's really what I'm saying. I don't disagree. Rules are black and white. You can't do it. There should be some form of punishment. Obviously, Stewart-Haas has said, hey, we effed up. We're not even going to appeal this. And I understand that. So at the end of the day, I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying from my standpoint as a fan, I want to know why NASCAR believes that this particular part was so egregious that it warranted the biggest penalty in NASCAR history.
Because it's black and white, says you can't counterfeit a part. Like, even if it doesn't give a competitive advantage, it says you can't counterfeit a part. So I don't think it matters what kind of advantage it gives you. If it says don't make this part from a single source part, then you don't make it. I just don't. I don't really get why that really matters. Now, if you're saying how do we? I get what you're saying on previous things, because we're talking about altering certain instances, especially ones, Joe, like we've talked about before, that came in faulty. I completely agree with you, on those instances. If you're modifying something that doesn't work, then that's NASCAR's fault, and you should be able to modify something that doesn't work. Like, we literally were told that the louvers were effed up for Chevrolet vehicles, and there's no reason why Chevy should be at a disadvantage because the single source part that Chevrolet is receiving is faulty. They shouldn't be penalized for that. But if this is just a normal part and they're just making a fake one, number one, that's horrendous quality control by Stewart-Haas. Somebody should be fired immediately. Number two, how does this make it all the way off the truck when you literally been looking at your car for 5 days and go, that doesn't look normal. Fuck it. It's probably normal.
Yeah. And that's another explanation I want. I want Stewart-Haas to explain how this could have possibly happened. And I don't think that we've gotten that yet. How did this happen? And the only thing that I can think how this happened is it had to be intentional, because I agree with you. There's no way that race team did not know that they had a counterfeit part on their race car. There's no way.
Right.
Somebody put it on. The amount of attention and detail that goes into putting these cars together, there's no way that somebody didn't know.
Right.
There's no way that everybody didn't know.
And I just, yeah. And as bad as Stewart-Haas has been this year, I mean, this is just another like thorn in the side for them from what's been just an absolute terrible year. I don't know, man. I start to wonder how much Tony Stewart actually gives a damn about Stewart-Haas racing.
He's got drag racing to do.
He's got drag racing. He's got the SRX. I almost feel like this is kind of a novelty at this point to say he has his name stamped on it and he gets to do a couple Mahindra commercials anymore.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I actually had high hopes for Chase Briscoe. Last year, I think that he competed well at the beginning of the season, and he's kind of fell off the map this year. But like I said, I just, from a personal standpoint as a fan, I really just wish that NASCAR would give a better explanation of what we get. Like, I want to know how much of a competitive edge could that have possibly given that car?
It would,
and I understand it's black and white. I'm not arguing that. Yeah, I'm not arguing that. Yeah, I understand.
He would have been fighting with JJ Yaley, for 32nd place.
Okay,
Joe, I was going to say, I saw a JJ Yaley micro sprint chili bowl diecast today, and I thought about buying it for you, but I just don't like you that much.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I'm not a likable guy. Cody Turner says, of course it was intentional. Got caught. Now he has to deny it. To try and save face, penalty was brutal, but they earned it. I got to fix my setup here. I put a smaller screen off to the right, and I'm having a hard time reading these now.
You're getting old.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw you with like your Sherlock Holmes
speaking of
microscope earlier.
Speaking of Cody Turner.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what day it was this past weekend, but I drove by his house and there was a magic show going on in his front yard.
That's true.
I almost stopped on the road and watched it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. I heard that as well. He had a magician. I was 6'3" before I went behind the curtain, and then I came out at 5'6".
That's
it was a pretty shitty magician because I'm still 5'6". So
yeah, he didn't help you out at all.
No. He labeled the sideshow was called World's Tallest Midget, and I'm trying to get my money back.
Yeah, at least you win in one category, I guess. He also had a giant water slide.
Yeah,
and he doesn't know this. I drove by again when all the kids left, and I went down that thing.
Did you?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
He said that he thought somebody might have spilled lemonade at the bottom of it, but that makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, no, it wasn't lemonade.
I saw you, and I was like, Joe, what are you doing? He's like, I'm trying to make the water warm. And I'm like,
yeah,
well,
it's kind of chilly.
What's that brown thing floating? That's not what makes it warm. Oh,
yeah, it was a Snickers. I had Snickers in my
pocket. Happy birthday, Jordan. So another thing I want to move on to, Joe, I don't know how much you listen to Action is Detrimental when it comes to Denny Hamlin's show. Number one, I will say this. As much of a dislike a lot of people have for Denny Hamlin, which he's earned over time, and I've been blatantly said that he's the rudest person I've ever met as a NASCAR driver. I think this does help him. Whether, like you kind of mentioned earlier, it could be for clicks, it could be for screen time. I'm not really sure. But it is enjoyable. I will say that it is enjoyable. But Denny Hamlin mentioned 3 or 4 different instances this past 3 to 4 years about Chase Elliott kind of being a baby and his fans being a baby. He said that he acted like a baby whenever he got wrecked and had to go onto the track to figure out on the radio where Kevin Harvick was so he could help your boy Kyle Larson win. He called him a baby whenever he said he thought Kyle Larson ran him tight at not Sonoma, but Auto Club. And, Kyle Larson and him kind of got into it and he tried to wreck him, which Kyle Larson then did put him in the wall, kind of. So that one kind of confused me because Chase Elliott got the raw end of that deal regardless, even if he was being a baby. He might have been justified then. But multiple different instances. And my question to you, who is the bigger baby? Chase Elliott or Chase Elliott fans?
Denny Hamlin.
You think so? You have that much disdain for Denny Hamlin?
I don't like that guy. Yeah, I don't like him at all. I think he's an asshole. I think it's very obvious. The closest instance that I ever came to liking Denny Hamlin is last year when he got the infamous tape on the hood. His wind stripped away from him. The closest I came to liking that guy is how I saw him with his kids at the end of the race. Outside of that dude is a straight up asshole, and it's pretty obvious.
I've grown more fond of certain drivers as they get older. I don't know. I feel like Denny Hamlin hasn't earned anything on the track to be a bad guy. He's been the victim of Ross Chastain a bunch lately, and has been obviously a victim of Chase Elliott. So I feel like he has the right to complain, at least here recently. I don't think that he's been in the wrong or been crying. And of course, everybody hates Toyotas. So all of the people that are now like Kyle Busch fans have no problem going at Denny Hamlin, which is wild. I think that's kind of surprised me. A lot of like rowdy fan pages and things like that. There is like probably 15 to 1 people bashing Denny Hamlin versus supporting him. in an incident that I think is very black and white that you could support him. But I also have tried to talk to a few Chase Elliott fans, and they're kind of shocked that he was suspended. Definitely tried to do the old Brad Keselowski pushed him, which there's nowhere remotely close. And they use a still picture when we have video footage. That's what's amazing. We have like the first time Fox has provided us with more than one angle, Joe, and it's not from like 4,000 feet away that we could see that Brad Keselowski never touched him. And Freddie Kitchens even said that on Door Bumper Clear that if you believe Brad Keselowski touched him, you quote unquote are an idiot. I'm going to have to go. Elliott fans are a little bit worse of a baby than Chase Elliott, but it is surprising to see, Joe, how the most popular driver in NASCAR has been really, I don't know if tar and feathered's the right word, but not in a positive light this year.
No, I don't think that obviously the snowboarding accident didn't help him because there was some controversy that surrounded that. He missed 6 races. He's going to miss another one due to suspension, but you're absolutely right. You could kind of look at Chase Elliott fans, and it's almost like that. You're the last guy at your job that can do what you do, and you're like, "What are you going to do? Fire me?" And then you get fired because you fucked up, and you're like, "What do you mean you're firing me?" I think Chase Elliott fans are kind of thinking the same way. Like, he's the most popular driver in NASCAR. They need him for ratings. There's no way NASCAR is going to suspend him. And then it's like he gets suspended. And they're like, what do you mean you're suspending him for what? And it's like, obviously he almost killed a guy.
Yeah. He literally bricked Tamlin. Yeah. He bricked Tamlin, almost killed a guy.
Yeah.
He actually could have done less damage with a trident this time.
Right.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see too, just the fan bases in general, because I feel like it's more Kyle Busch, like people in general that have come out to help him. Cause now you kind of get this mix, and I'm only part of certain fan groups. Cause like you can only handle so much stupidity and so much like god awful grammar. And I am by no person a grammar police, but holy cow. You guys need help.
It makes Joe Biden look intelligent.
You guys need help. Okay. We had the Mackey thing back in the day. Mackey Brown, not Brown, but something. Mavis Beacon. That's what it was, to help us with our grammar. You guys need that. Yeah. It's just been interesting to see something that's very black and white, in my opinion, not been changed. And I'm just curious how people come to these conclusions, and maybe my rose-colored glasses aren't as thick as some others.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Marilyn Hollywood says he was quoting Anchorman in his head at that exact same time.
Well, I know he is. I know Zach is.
Happy
Pride Month, Zach.
Behind you all the way. Yeah. It gets way darker than that.
Yeah.
The more you get to know me.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Anyway, these Facebook fan groups, we've done a show on that in the past, and we have to do another one, because the amount of stupidity and stupid shit that people post on NASCAR fan groups is above and beyond anything that I think you'll find anywhere else.
I want to apologize for this. Before I got to in those Facebook fan groups, Joe, I had made the statement. I was like, NASCAR is not just a bunch of white rednecks that like cars turning left. And then I joined Facebook fan groups. And by God, I was wrong. There are a ton of them. I mean, there are way more than I could ever imagine. And some of you guys need birth control, and that's okay. We like your passion. But maybe just don't reproduce.
I would really like, and all the absurdity on there, I would like to go into the multiple NASCAR fan groups that I have and that I belong to, that I share things out to, and just give a quick, 3 to 5 minute lesson on there, and two, and two.
Yeah.
Just basic, your, I just basic little stuff that may help you out, down the road in life. I know we all learn these things in like third grade English, maybe fourth grade, depending on the state that you're in. But I don't know how some of these people hold jobs. I don't.
There's a reason why they're commenting at 11:30 in the afternoon. So
yeah, that's a great point.
And I'm not, like I said, I'm not the grammar police, and I'm sure Cody Turner is letting.
So all you people in those NASCAR fan groups that we rely on to watch our videos and comment, screw you.
Yeah. For God's sakes, just spell check one time, just once. But Joe, the name of the show is called Down on the Farm, and you and I kind of briefly talked about it. We don't talk a whole lot about the Xfinity and Truck Series, but I did want to get an overall look because, well, the regular season is winding down. The Truck Series only has like five races left now before the end of the regular season, which is kind of hard to believe. And also the Xfinity Series is getting close to an end of the regular season as well. So I did want to bring up the standings. First, we'll go with the Xfinity Series. I'll show you that. Oh, God, I can only imagine what you're reading. So if you can see that, John Hunter Nemechek at the top, Austin Hill in second, Justin Allgaier. Cole Custer has done a really good job after being demoted. I do want to give him credit for that. Josh Berry, Chandler Smith, Sheldon Creed, Sammy Smith, Riley Herbst, Daniel Hemrick. That is your top 10 for the Xfinity Series. And then I want to give a top 10 for the Truck Series. And we got Corey Heim, Ty Majeski, Zane Smith, last year's champion, Grant Enfinger, Ben Rhodes, Christian Eckes, Matt Crafton, Carson Hocevar, Tanner Cray, and Matt DiBenedetto, rounding off your top 10. So, Joe, while we don't give a lot of love on this show to the lower series, what can you say so far? Have you been entertained by them? Do you think there's a lot of talent in the lower series right now? And, what are your expectations for what you've seen so far with the guys at the top? And do you think they make good prospects moving into NASCAR going forward?
Oh, 100%. I think you look at Corey Heim, drivers like Carson Hocevar in the Truck Series. I've been absolutely pleased with the product of the Truck Series this year. I don't think that they've had a bad race, honestly. I mean, I on every form of track, whether it be the super speedways that they visited, the mile and a halves, the road courses, they put on a great race when we went to Atlanta. Short tracks look good with the trucks as well. To be honest with you, when you compare the Xfinity and the Truck Series to the product that we've had and the Cup Series this year, the Truck Series blows the Cup Series away as far as competitiveness and quality of races this year.
Yes.
So, The Truck Series is doing something right now, and they have a lot of good quality young drivers that are going to make a difference here in the next couple of years.
If you could pick a prospect right now, Joe, in either the Xfinity or the Truck, that you would say, when this guy makes it to the highest of series, I could really see myself rooting on this person, who would that be?
Corey Heim's one. In the Truck Series, Zane Smith, I like him. Not just because he gave my son an autograph, but I think he's going to be a competitor. Enfinger's going to be a competitor. I think when he makes it up, if he does make it up, I think he's probably going to spend a couple more years down there. And then as far as the Xfinity, I think Josh Berry's going to be a great driver. I don't know the product that he'll put out next year, but. Outside of that, moving forward, I think a year or two into the Cup Series, he's really going to be a competitor.
What kind of surprises me, and we briefly talked about this the other day, is John Hunter Nemechek. I mean, he had a very brief stint in the Cup Series. I believe it was for 1 year, and then was sent back down. And Kyle Busch, which he drove for Kyle Busch in his Truck Series, said, what is, the difference between John Hunter Nemechek in the Cup Series and down the Xfinity? And he said $6 million. And he said if he had a sponsor that was able to cover $6 million, he believes he's in the Cup Series. Now, to me, number one, that is a huge pat on the ass for John Hunter Nemechek to have somebody like Kyle Busch say, essentially, you deserve to be up here, but due to the financial / political constraints, the way the CBA is wrote up, that's the only reason why. It's not because he doesn't have talent. He's very talented. He just doesn't have right. He doesn't have Daddy Gibbs controlling, or Granddaddy Gibbs controlling a ride. He doesn't have Granddaddy Childress controlling a ride. So he has to come up with his own sponsorship.
And a perfect example of that is Smithfield as a sponsor.
Yep.
You know, because we all know he doesn't really or should not really be in the Cup Series. So, you know, I 100% believe what Kyle Busch is saying. I mean, why would he say it if it wasn't true?
Yeah,
You know?
and it's not, and I can't like emphasize this enough because it's Kyle Busch talking about what he would have as a competitor. It's not like John Hunter Nemechek's going to join Richard Childress Racing because, I mean, he's a Toyota guy through and through. Same thing with Corey Hine, who last year drove for Kyle Busch Motorsports as well. I that to me is the biggest, like, this guy is really good. This guy is a really good racer, and he deserves to be up here. And I think that you mentioned the Truck Series being a better product so far. I think it's been that way for a while. Like, it's not going to be the most skilled, because you do have such, I mean, Matt Crafton's been in the Truck Series forever. I mean, he helped fill in a little bit when Kyle Busch broke his leg in 2015. Wasn't very good. But at the same time, Joe, you got the youth, and you're talking like 7 or 18-year-old. I believe Corey Heim's like 18 or 19 years old. And Sammy Smith is 18, going on 19 years old. And then you have the older guys, and you mix that in, and it creates such a good product. And Joe, these cars and these trucks, they can beat and bang. They're able to race each other. They're able to race each other essentially like 2 generations ago when NASCAR was really doing well.
Yeah. The product that the Truck Series has put out this year has been phenomenal. And I've actually thought, you know, over the past several years that I think it would be, and of course, the lower tier drivers, and I don't even want to call them lower tier drivers, the younger drivers, you have your veterans of the Truck Series, like you said, Matt Crafton, you know, and the other names that you used to always hear all the time that have since retired, that were veterans and sole truck drivers throughout their 15 or 20-year career, that stayed in that series. And
yeah, like Ron Horton, Ajax Sprague, people like that,
Jennifer Joe Cobb,
yeah,
you know, people like that, you know, back when you look at the early 2000s, late 90s, sorry, Zoomers, I know you can't remember back that far. There was a time before you were born.
Get your encyclopedias, nerds.
Right. The Truck Series had a huge following. It still does have a big following. It dropped off a little bit, but I since the Truck Series has been around, it has put on a great product week in and week out. And I've often thought that maybe the Truck Series should be the second circuit, not the third. But you know, I don't think that's going anywhere fast. And you know, like I said, I think the Truck Series will continue to produce great drivers. It will continue to put on great performances. And I tell you what, I'll miss an Xfinity race here and there. I won't miss a truck race. I mean, I watch them come hell or high water.
Yeah, I know whenever I went live the other day, you're like, well, I don't know if I can do it. So I did it. And then you're champing at the bit as soon as we got this. I sat here and started talking trucks. So I knew that you, after that, were like, yeah, we need to do more of that. We need to do more of that, sitting down and all watching the Truck Series together, because it's just a great product.
It was, and you had fun with that. And I'll tell you, the one reason why I didn't want to do it is because when I watch races, I actually like to watch the races. And you know, it's kind of like, I don't want to do 2 things at once. I'm going to watch the race. And
yeah.
But yeah, that looked like fun, and we should probably throw that out on this show again, and maybe get both of us on, and you know, maybe old Marilyn Wally Wood or Cody Turner could join us.
Yeah, I would love to get to the point, Joe, where we are inviting people into a group to where we could do these type of things. That's my envision for the community, for this to happen, is to sit down, everybody get into a room, chat it up, video it up if they want to do it that way, and just sit there and watch a race. Because the whole point of this, and the reason why we like this, is because it does go down generations. It's literally a generational thing. And as you can tell, the drama behind the passion of this sport drives this sport. I mean, like we said in the other show, Ryan Blaney won the race, and not one person gives a shit to talk about Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, nobody gave a shit.
It's all about Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin drama.
At the end of the season, when they start talking about playoff drivers, they're going to mention Ryan Blaney, and everybody's going to go, when did he win the race?
Exactly right. Yeah. The only person that knows Ryan Blaney won a race is Roger Penske.
Yeah.
So moving to WWT.
Who won everything last week, by the way.
Yeah.
Except the F1 race.
Yeah. $3 billion old man gives himself to be the guy that says and start the engines.
Yeah.
Bullshit. But we're moving to the Enjoy Illinois 300, and I can't emphasize that enough. This race is in Illinois. It is not in St. Louis, Missouri. I know they're begging to get that market, but it is in Illinois. And Joe, we're kind of winding into the second half of the regular season, but starting with WWT, is there a driver that you're looking for here, either as a late playoff push, a way to solidify his playoff push, or really rise to the top to control the playoffs, starting with the WWT Raceway?
Yeah, we're talking about a road course, so obviously,
No,
what?
WWT is not a road course.
I knew that. I don't know. I have no idea why I said
Now the Xfinity is going to Portland this weekend, but WWT is not a road course.
Oh my God.
It is a smaller, less banked Darlington / New Hampshire hybrid.
I know what it is. Ryan, good God. Good God. I
Go ahead, Joe.
I have many strokes right here live on YouTube because that's what I do.
Yeah.
This week, I mean, I think prior to last week, Chase Elliott's obviously out this week, but we're really coming down to crunch time with him. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, I know what it looks like, Ryan. I know what it looks like. I don't know why I said that. So we're looking at drivers who's still out there that's going to get their first win. And what is this track? 1.3 miles?
It's
1.2?
something close to that. Yeah. 1.3, I believe, is the official. It's very much almost the same length as
not
Darlington.
And it's not banked like Darlington, because Darlington actually kind of has the bankings of a super speedway. You know, so it almost runs like a super speedway. WWT doesn't. So I'm almost throwing Kyle Busch out this week. I don't know what their performance is going to be, because this isn't quite a mile and a half. It does run. It kind of runs like a mile and a half, but kind of like a short track as well, if that makes sense. And I just don't think that he's RCR is going to be very good this week. I think William Byron, not William Byron, Alex Bowman. I think he could probably get a win here this week, maybe. Outside of that, man, I don't know who's still looking for a win. You know, what
Like the guy that just gotta say it. The guy that I've been watching is Bubba Wallace.
No, I'm not mentioning that.
He's 3 top 5s, 4 if you include the All-Star race. Has had speed. They've been fast. I mean, his teammates been fast as well.
They've been fast on mile and a halfs. They've been fast on super speedways. This track is going to take driving talent. And at the end of the day, mile and a halfs with this new car, like I said, this is the mile and a halfs are the hot spot for the next gen car. I mean, we've seen that they've put on quality races. I think that is the easiest tracks to drive on right now for these cars. And I think Bubba Wallace is performing because I think Bubba Wallace has a good team. I don't think Bubba Wallace is going to compete here. And I might come back to eat those words, but I think that this is more of a technical track. And I don't think that when you talk about technical and driving ability, I don't think that's Bubba Wallace's hot spot.
Well, I mean, let's just go ahead and get into your picks then, Joe. I mean, last week you gained 3 points.
Oh my God.
You had Kyle Busch give you 1 point, and then Mark Truex Jr. give you 2. Shout out to Cody Turner. And I got 1 point, and that was from Kyle Busch. So that was not great for me. But moving in, we have to pick somebody outside the top 20.
Yeah, go ahead and pull the drivers back up, the standings back up.
Okay, I can do that. Do you want to give your other? Joey Logano beat Kyle Busch in overtime last year. Joe, if you remember, this is where Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott teamed up on Ross Chastain after being hit by both of them, and Denny Hamlin almost went like 50 miles an hour down the backstretch, and Ross Chastain still had a top 5. So,
right.
or a top 10. Excuse me. Let me pull it up here. All right, here we go. This is the privilege of watching a live show. So Austin Cindric currently is your 20th place driver.
Yeah, I don't want him. I'm going to pick my 20th place driver first.
This week I'll allow you to take Chase Elliott.
Yeah, I bet you would. I'm going to go with outside the top 20 here. I'll go with Justin Haley this week.
That's a good pick. After I didn't pick him, I'm actually going to make an audible. I'm going to make an audible for my last pick.
And then I always like past winners. I don't know. I think Ford has been on the smaller tracks. I think they do well. I'm going to go with Joey Logano. I said I wasn't going to take Kyle, but you know what? I'm not going to take Kyle Busch. I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to take William Byron this week.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm going to take, obviously, Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
What is that? 3?
No, that's 4. Haley, Logano, Willie B, and Larson.
Okay. I need one more.
Right now, this is shaping up to be quite the contest.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and do it too. I know I just sat here and bashed him. I'll take Denny Hamlin as well.
On my bingo card, if I would have said we have one driver in common, Denny Hamlin would not have been the driver that I guess that we would have had in common.
Yeah.
So I am going to go Denny Hamlin. I'm going to stay and ride in the heat, the flames of the guy that everybody forgot last week won the race, and Ryan Blaney. I will also go with Ross Shitstain, see if he can try to get somebody to try to wreck him again.
I should have took him. That's a good pick.
Outside my top 20, I'm going with the Dinger. He had a top 10 last year at this race, so I'm going to go with the Dinger. That's my substitution from Eric Jones. I know that's going to kill me. And then, of course, give one up to Rowdy Nation. I'm going to go with Kyle Busch. And I'm hoping that we get more of the Darlington outcomes, because I honestly believe he should have won that race, but he forgot how to stop in his pit stall on the very last restart.
But even though this track looks the same from the sky, it's not the same track. I want you to remember that.
It is very flat. It is 1.25 miles.
Yeah.
So not 1.3, 1.25. So if you would like to make your picks, send them down in the comments below. We will always bring those up and see how you do compared to us, which you'll lose, but it's worth a try. Also, we'll see how the rest of the week goes. If we decide to do a live show with one of the races, we will bring that up to you as well. I know I have some plans tomorrow early, but I was possibly thinking about jumping on maybe in the middle of the truck race tomorrow night.
It may be possible. I do have a baseball game to go to, but
right, and I have a
God,
softball
those
game.
have an hour and a half time limit on them. That's the greatest. That's the greatest invention of mankind when it comes to youth baseball.
Right. Also, we will be giving away. We've had a good subscriber count join us this week, so I want to thank you for that, especially if you're new joining in. If you want to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, you'll have a chance at 500 subscribers to get a diecast car there. That is Kyle Busch's rookie car, and another find there at a super flea market. The super clean 1992 Davey Allison Matchbox Superstockers.
Love it.
Look at the back. Ernie Irvin, Dale Earnhardt, and Davey Allison.
Man, that's nice.
So, flea market finds.
I wouldn't give that away.
Oh, God, no. No, you're not getting that. No, if you win, you're not allowed to have that. I don't give a shit if I paid $5 for that or not. So, no. I will pay $75 to give you a cool diecast, but you're not having my $5 Davey Allison diecast.
Hey, yeah. We did have a whole lot of people tickle that subscribe button this week.
It was
good. Caressed it. They push it. We had a couple people push it and unpush it. I don't.
Yeah, well, they were so excited they hit it twice, maybe.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else comment wise at Control Center 1 that you're able to see?
Yeah. Malin Wallywood says, great show, fellas.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Did Cody fall asleep?
Yeah, Cody felt he's probably watching a Magic show again.
Yeah, he's probably watching the NBA.
He
Finals.
probably recorded that. Cody probably recorded that, and I bet every night after work he's probably watched 10 or 20 minutes of it, going, "How'd they do that? Or how they do that? Wow!" The key to that trick is not to show both your thumbs.
I have small hands.
Yeah,
I can't hold. You gotta get it. Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. I'm the Burger King guy that couldn't hold the Whopper. So, yeah, sorry. It is what it is.
Yeah,
but,
it is.
Well, Joe, I don't want to do this because unfortunately you've gotten bigger than me.
What?
But we're gonna wrap up the show.
What do you mean? I got big. Oh, yeah, I don't have my flag. Yeah, I know.